Okay. Switch successor ideas slash discussion. I just want to get my thoughts out there before the actual next Nintendo console gets released. Just for the fun of it. Just to be able to look back and really get into the headspace of what everyone was kind of thinking at this time, not knowing exactly when it's going to come out. Right now it is December 29th, 2024. And you can see videos from 2021 and be like, yo, Switch 2 is coming out tomorrow. Oh my gosh, it's coming out tomorrow. And here we are, almost 2025. But we know official information that they're going to reveal it by the end of March. So that's why I'm making the video right now, before they reveal it. All right? First things first. We're just going to assume that it is going to be a Switch 2, even though they haven't said anything. We're going to go off the idea that it is a Switch, but better, in what ways? Who knows? But that's what we're going to talk about right now. Okay, first things first, price range. $300 for base Switch, $200 USD for Switch Lite, and then $350 USD for Switch OLED. I think Switch has been $300 USD for its whole life. There's been offers and bundles with Mario Kart 8 and Nintendo Switch Online membership packed in, but just $300's been that way. So it has to be higher. $350 is the OLED price. No way they would do the OLED price. Or they might release it and then price cut their previous models. But I think for me, just a $400 USD would be the price. I don't know, $375. You can't go too close to $500 because that's just PS5 and Xbox Series X price range. And then you're supposed to be kind of the cheaper, more affordable option, cheap enough that maybe you'll get a second one or something. I don't know. Some people do. I have one. I got mine 2017 regular Switch model. And yeah. Next thing, the screen size. Current Switch, 6.2 LCD inches. All right. OLED, 7 inches. Switch 2, gotta be bigger, right? It is LCD. If we're believing the rumors, I don't think they would do OLED right away. I think they would have a separate OLED model. They'll have a Switch 2 family of systems similar to the 3DS. So I think just basic 8-inch, could even be 7-inch, but LCD, that's what I'm expecting. And then battery life, regular Switch, OLED Switch, 4.5 to 9 hours. I think we can pretty much expect the same depending on what game we're playing. I was looking at the Switch OLED page, and it said we know the Switch OLED has better kickstand, so we should expect a better kickstand than the paper clip holder we have on the Switch. Is just so small, so tiny. Barely works. Mine's fine, but I know a lot of people's kind of fell off, or just it's not as sturdy anymore. OLED also has a LAN port. All right, we need an Ethernet cable. I think that would be in the new dock. And the weirdest thing, I didn't even notice this. I didn't know this before, but the OLED page says enhanced audio, from the actual Switch itself, and I didn't know that. Better speakers or something? I'm not entirely sure, but we can probably expect that in the Switch 2. And now the more fun part, the controllers. I'm pretty sure this had backwards compatibility. The new Joy-Cons would also have HD rumble, accelerometer, gyroscope, and as well as the best feature, Joy-Con drift. But they're gonna be magnetic, according to the rumors. And I don't know what the regular consumer thinks about magnets, but what I know is they're kind of scary around electronics. If they're too strong around your computer monitor or your PC or something, anything. It's just I know they could mess things up. So I'm really curious on how these things work. I really hope they do a deep dive video on the engineering behind it and whatnot. I think that would be interesting. Similar how to Sony does the PS5 breakdown and they kind of dissect everything. I think that would be really cool. Will it stick? I know people who Joy-Con rails kind of get loose over time and they slide off. And I know it's not because of mishandling. They're adults as well. And it's just like, kids break these things very easily. I've seen a kid Switch. I don't know how. Seems like it's been thrown off a freaking space satellite and crash landed onto Earth, and it just doesn't work. It just slides off. It doesn't charge properly. So will this magnetic solution be, the solution to this problem? I can't even imagine how it would work. Right? According to the photos, we would see like a little release button behind the triggers. Like, okay, but like, does it click on? Does it snap on? Like, I don't even know. But I do hope that there's like a little, like, I hope the Joy-Cons maybe make a cool little vibration sound when attaching or something like that, just to let you know, hey, it's connected. The Switch kind of has that satisfying click. So I don't know if we'll have a magnetic sound, like zoop or something. Zoop magnetic enough? We'll find out. All right, moving on to the power. Rumors suggest PS4 Pro. I mean, Nintendo's always kind of behind, which is totally fine in terms of power. And PS4 Pro came out like 10 years ago. I'm double checking this right now, but like, if like that seems right. It came out in 2016. And the PS4 came out in 2013. So it's like, yeah, it's like 10 years. It's been 10 years since we had that technology. So I just like, that's great. We got amazing looking games on the PlayStation 4, like Red Dead 2, or like, I'm blanking out right now. I don't know. The Last of Us Part 2. Lots of other 2s out there. Knack 2. So if that works, it works. And I'm happy with that. It's just like third parties won't have to kind of sacrifice their ports or just like straight up not port at all. Because like they're trying their hardest to put everything they can on the Switch just because of this huge player base. We get cloud versions of like Resident Evil games that they just don't work on the Switch, so you gotta make the cloud version. But like if it's the power of the PS4 or PS4 Pro, that's great. You can just straight up port over like Elden Ring or something, and it would just work fine. And I think that's really cool. We still have like 4 years of the PS5 generation, and still a lot of games are still being ported over. Or being brought over to the PS4 and the Xbox One. So it's like, and every console generation, diminishing returns, stuff like that, and cross-gen gaps are getting smaller and yada, yada, yada. So it's like, I think that is just a nice place to be. PS4 Pro, kind of mix between those two or something. And we know that Nintendo is going to make their game's going to work on it no matter what. Excluding Pokemon, we're not going to count that. But third-party support is just going to be more. Like we saw so much support for the Switch already, and a lot of other games did struggle, or they didn't look as good, or they didn't run as good. But like it's catching up now, so that's really cool. And the biggest thing that I'm excited about, according to the rumors, if we're assuming the rumors and leaks so far are true, actually two more things actually. They both involve the letter C. We're gonna talk about the top USB-C port first, right? We have one at the bottom. It's gonna connect to the dock, just like the original Switch, but we have one extra on the top. It's nice to have. People are assuming accessories, I mean, that could be true. I mean, we can always could technically plug in accessories to the dock. I don't recall any of them. I know there's a pen. Okay, there's a pen for the game called Colors Live for the Nintendo Switch, and it does come with a stylus, but that plugs into the headphone jack, and it has pressure-sensitive painting Yeah. So you always could have plugged in accessories, but I guess not everything could work through the headphone jack. I don't even know how that works, to be honest. But no, thing on the top, people are like, oh, it could be a camera plugging into the top. It could be anything that plugs into the top because it would plug onto the top and it would still be in the dock and you can take it out easily, Or it could just be there just because, the Wii U had a port on the bottom of the gamepad, which was never really used officially, probably due to the poor sales and a lifespan got cut short. But like, it was there though, it was still there for the possibility of getting stuff. Wii Remote had the port on the bottom, had so many accessories or whatnot. The nunchuck could plug in there, Wii Classic controller, stuff like that. So I think it's just nice to have a port because they don't even know what they're going to do for the next 7-8 years for the console, right? Unless they do, but it's like they still have that option. Also, it's like easier to charge from the top if you want to lie down and rest a Switch on your chest or something. Charge from the top port. I think it's good. It's nice to have. I really hope it means something special. I really hope there's a cool little gimmicky thing that shows up later. The last, but not the least important thing, I think this is the coolest thing because I like the gimmicky Nintendo stuff. Like, I understand it can be very annoying, but if they're gonna do the Switch, but again, I really hope there's just something different. From the DS to the 3DS, it's very similar. It's just better because it just plays all the DS games and whatnot. But like, hey, you have a C stick now. You have an analog. You have a stick. Eventually we got the C stick nub thing on the newer models, and it played everything in 3D almost. Right? It didn't really. Right? It's totally optional. It only enhanced the experience. Right? If you didn't want it, you didn't need it. But if you wanted it, there you go. C button. We are going to talk about the C button, which is on the right Joy-Con, seems to be below the home button, which is an interesting position. I mean, why is it below the home button? It's like, do they expect the player to press that button less often than the home button? It's like, if it had more functionality to it during gameplay, I feel like it would have been higher. But I guess they didn't want to switch out the classic position where the home button was on the original Switch and or whatnot. But yeah, the C button. So two things we can talk about it is that if the C actually stands for something, like some people suggest cast or create, communicate, camera, I don't know, but I feel like it's just called the C button, just following the pattern of letters. We got the A, B, X, Y buttons, they don't really stand for anything. They just kind of are. So I think the C is just kind of just the name, right? We have LR for left, right, makes sense. But we also have ZL and CR. Like, where does Z come from? Oh, X, Y, Z. Okay. So we have A, B, C. Boom. Maybe on the Switch 20 or something we'll have the full alphabet. I don't know. But just the C button, I just don't know. It's not something that's on both Joy-Con, you know what I mean? Like, when you split up the Joy-Con, it can't be used on both controllers. It just can't be, it's just I think it probably has the same importance of the screenshot and the home button. I just don't see it doing something too great. My hope is Miiverse. I think Miiverse is really funny and really cool. So I really hope it's just like a little create button. I don't know. It's so intriguing because it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be the worst thing ever. It's like, it'll communicate to your phone for the Nintendo mobile app or something. That's what it's going to be. Fully dedicated button just for that. And everyone's going to be so disappointed. That's something that could be kind of cool. It could mean anything and nothing all at the same time. One thing I would want to have is the infrared sensor, like the Wii Remote. I'm holding a right Joy-Con with the strap right now on my right hand, and it's just like if I rest my finger on the trigger, then it kind of leaves the right bumper open. So that could have a sensor in it, kind of like hidden behind the bumper. And according to the photos, they're just kind of like CAD stuff. So it's like not really official, and like you wouldn't necessarily be able to see what's going on inside. But like, would there be a sensor bar? I'm like, okay, yeah, sensor bar. This USB-C port on top that could plug into a sensor bar, right? Like, okay. So I just want that. I think certain games just work wonderful with pointer controls. Like Pikmin 1 and 2, a new play control on the Wii. I think those worked really well. Just like light gun shooters, just any shooters, anything, like a lot of Mario Party mini games had to have pointer controls or whatnot. It's just you open the door to more possibilities, without compromising the standard layout of a controller, because you still have everything. It's just you're adding more, right? You're not really taking anything away. And I think that would be really cool, I think it would be really cool. Yeah, that's what I want Switch 2. I just, like, the console itself is like, yeah, but like the games, and there's no, like, people are speculating, oh, they're going to announce it sooner than later rather than later because of all the leaks and stuff. And it's like, no, I don't think so, because 99% of people don't even know what's going on. They're not obsessed over it like we are, they don't know. They just know it's a Switch. Yippee. No idea that this thing's coming out whenever it is. Probably next year. Has to be. I'm betting on next year. If I had to bet, I'm gonna say some part of me actually thinks it's gonna be holiday, but that seems so far away. But like, it's like they're not in a rush. Like, they can wait. They wait on games. Why not wait on their console release? But I want to be more hopeful, so I want to say mid-year, like say May, like say June. I think releasing before holiday would be nice, because you have that first uptick of sales from like the hardcore fans or whatnot. People are going to buy no matter what. And then you can kind of start resupplying, kind of like stocking up Switches for the holiday season. That way everyone's not really fighting over it at the same time. People are trying to get it for their kid, random like 20-year-old something nerd like me trying to get it. We're not fighting each other. If I get it in my May month or June, right, everyone else maybe buys in like October, November, December. It's like more breathing room, right? So I think that seems right to me. Yeah. For launch games, has to be Mario Kart 9. It has to be. It's been like a decade. 3D Mario's been a while, not including Bowser's Fury. I don't think it will necessarily be launch. I think launch could definitely do anything for launch. I feel like really give the spotlight to another IP, because Mario Kart's gonna sell. 3D Mario is gonna sell no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's at launch or several months after launch. They're gonna sell. They're gonna sell so much, and I feel like they could take the risk with a lesser known IP. An IP that doesn't really do well, or a brand new one. Like, give them the spotlight for the beginning, because hardcore people, they're gonna buy a Switch, and like, what are they gonna get? They're probably just gonna get what's available, first party wise. So I think I want that. I really hope there's a new IP. Everyone doesn't really like ARMS that much. Well, I thought it was kind of cool. I had my fun with it. I think it would. You know what? Off topic. That's it. We're done here. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.